Greetings, traveller, from beyond the fog. I am Melina. There is something for which I must apologize. My purpose was long ago lost, yet I'm certain that we can reach an understanding. For my purpose, given to me by my mother inside the Erdtree, long ago, the reason for which I live, burned and bodiless.
To me, Melina is one of the most interesting characters in Elden Ring. Due to reasons like the Frenzied Flame ending, many people started connecting her to the Glowmite Queen.
Lord of Frenzied Flame, I will seek you as far as you may travel to deliver you what is yours. Destined death.
Delivering destined death was the Glowmite Queen's job, so it makes sense to connect those two. And let's not forget about the fact that she is the one that will lead us to destined death, or Malekith, once burned. But as there is nothing that will tell us that for sure, we can only speculate if they are connected to each other or not. But there are some questions about Melina I need answered. Why was she burned? By whom was she burned? And most importantly, where is her corpse? And after some digging, I think I have found the answer to all of those questions. Maybe. Hi, I'm Banuune, and I welcome you to my journey discovering the mysteries of Elden Ring. As the lore gets very complicated, I recommend to take my hand, like the video and subscribe while I guide you through it. If you're ready, I'd say let's dive in. We don't know much about Melina herself. There are a few things that she tells us about herself, but only after getting comfortable with us.
I'm searching for my purpose, given to me by my mother inside the Erdtree, long ago, for the reason that I yet live, burned and bodiless.
So she has lost the memory about her purpose, but remembered that she had one, and that it was given to her by her mother inside the Erdtree. Only when we get to the Erdtree and she sees the impenetrable thorns, she remembers her purpose.
The thorns are impenetrable. The only way to stand before the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord is to pass the thorns. My purpose serves to aid in that very act. I'm asking you to commit a cardinal sin, but it must be done to reach the path beyond, and that is the path I wish to travel.
So when she saw the impenetrable thorns, she remembered that the tree needs to burn.
O Erdtree, you shall burn. Burn for the sake of the new Lord.
But Melina, unlike Mesmer, does not bear any fire within her. She needs an external flame to set her ablaze, a kindling, if you will, to be able to burn the tree. And in the lands between, the flame of ruin was the only flame strong enough to actually burn the tree. Remember that fact for later. So while Melina burns herself, we pass out from probably inhaling too much smoke from the fire. But whatever. After we wake up, we find ourselves in Far Missoula. Melina is gone at this point and won't return. But as she fulfilled her purpose, I guess she doesn't mind. And without teleporting, the only way to get out of Far Missoula is to get to the end and beat Malekith. And if we do so, after a million tries, we will be transported to Lindell, the capital of Ash. We can see the Erdtree is still standing strong, but now it is burning. If we go straight to the Erdtree and defeat Godfrey, we can see the impenetrable thorns are gone. But this means that when Melina burned herself, she burned the Erdtree too, and with it, she got rid of the so-called impenetrable thorns, which will enable the new Lord to come and got us to Far Missoula, where destined death is located. I'd say that is a pretty big deal. And I don't know if you have noticed it, but there is a similar story happening in the realm of shadow. In the realm of shadow, you can explore the world however you please, with almost all locations being accessible from the start, and without the restriction of having to beat a boss before getting anywhere. Usually, bosses are given to us at the end of a region, giving us the opportunity to explore places without having to kill a certain boss before. But there is one region that is only accessible after killing a certain boss. Elden. We can see from afar there's something obscuring this place, making it barely visible from the outside. After we kill the dancing lion, we can walk up those stairs, which would eventually lead to Elden, but we are rejected by impenetrable thorns. And maybe some of you will already know where I'm going, but let me explain further. To get to Elden, we have to get to the last corner of the Ra ruins. There, we can find the Sealingtree. Burning this tree is necessary to get rid of the thorns blocking off Elden. But if you try to do just like that, it won't work. A special kindling is needed. Mesmer's kindling.
The kindling of Mesmer the Impaler burns the Sealingtree said to be found at the old Ra ruins. Mesmer, much like his younger sister, bore a vision of fire.
The similarities between those two stories is, in my opinion, undeniable. Both Elden and Farum Azula require a tree to be burned by a special kindling. Burning the Sealingtree and the Erdtree will both lead you to a sealed-off location, and both are almost not visible from the outside. And also in both cases, a lord will rise. Same with the visual similarities between Elden and Farum Azula. Both are constantly covered in sunlight, no matter the time of day, even at night. And their architecture and designs both seem to depict suns in various forms. Many speculated either Farum Azula or Elden to be the lost sun realm, but if they were connected in ancient times, it would make sense why we cannot agree on which of them is actually the sun realm, as I believe both are. But let me give you another example. Ballarat and Elden were once connected, but aren't anymore, even having separate names despite being one location. I think their separation caused the individual locations to change separately, due to the long time that has passed since they were separated, despite them belonging together. And I believe the same thing could be true for Farum Azula. All three places could have once belonged together, but due to the passing of time, wars, and destruction, or the change of a leader, they all changed independently. It could be why they are so similar, yet different. And I think the same cause applies to Farum Azula's visibility and why we cannot see it from the lands between. The Farum Azula part seems to have been separated for a longer time than the Elden and Ballarat were. That is why we can still kind of make out the shape of Elden, while Farum Azula is completely invisible from the outside. But how does all of that tie back to Melina? Melina calls herself burnt and bodiless, which means burning herself on our side was not the first time she was burned. She was burned before. But we never got told why, how, and where. And I think I have found Melina's corpse, or what is left of her.
A young shoot heavy with Empyrean blood, exceedingly rare to find, said to burgeon forth from where the golden blood of Mikola, the wounded Empyrean, pooled.
Sacramental bud, an immature bud containing fresh blood. Believed to originate long ago from a strain of buds cultivated with youthful sacramental blood.
Though watered with Mikola's own blood since it was a sapling, the Erdtree ultimately failed to grow into an Erdtree.
When we die, we'll leave behind this illusory tree, but according to the Empyrean blood virgin and the sacramental blood, a flower, or more, a tree, will grow if Empyreans bleed. The Erdtree and the tree in the heart of Ionia are a good example for that. And I think this tree, the Sealingtree, is what is left after Melina was burned. If we compare the events, Melina and the Sealingtree seem to share a purpose. Both will bring you to a place that is covered in sunlight. Both will get rid of impenetrable thorns. And both will lead you to locations that were inaccessible before. And let's not forget that both require a special kindling to be burned. I have speculated that Inealim was once sealed off before, and according to the Grace Mimic, it is merely a cycle. So events repeating themselves is a possibility. And I speculate that Marika ordered Mesmer to burn Melina as a sacrifice in order to get to the Divine Gate, telling her that that was her purpose. Because if you remember, Melina needs an outside force to burn her. She cannot burn on her own. And as I said, I think the Sealingtree is what is left of her after being burned. She tells us that she is bodiless, so finding a human corpse is highly unlikely. But remember that Empyrean blood will create trees. Even the fingers that choose the Empyreans will turn into what looks like wood once dead. Not talking about Ronnie's fingers though, as they seem to be special. So let's not focus on those fingers. So back to Melina. I think because she was burned, the tree did not grow big, as it was only growing as long her blood was pooling. And again, let's not focus on Ronnie here, as she is not growing a tree, I know. And I speculate this comes from her killing her body with the rune of death, like poisoning the soil, so that the tree could not grow. And again, back to Melina. I had the thought that it is possible that the Sealingtree is the physical body of Melina, and the Erdtree, or the inner part of the Shadow Tree, is Melina's spirit. As the Sealingtree and part of the Shadow Tree look the same, so they probably are connected somehow. And we know the Erdtree and the Shadow Tree as is were created when Marika committed a sin to become a god. So what if Marika's sin, or more her shadow, was her killing her own child, and the trees are a representation of her loss? Is that what she confessed to the grandmother? Was her wish to be forgiven? Going back to the topic of Melina's connection to Inealim, many people speculate that this fleshy thing seen in the story trailer is a snake or the Glowmite Queen, like Tim Diggity for example. He made a great speculation video about this, which I highly recommend checking out. And if Inealim was the prior location of the Glowmite Queen, and therefore destined death, it would make sense why burning the Sealingtree brings us to Inealim, while burning Melina leads us to Farum Azula.
The one who walks alongside flame shall one day meet the road of destined death.
Because if his theory is correct, then at the time when she was burned, destined death was located in Inealim, but now it can be found in Farum Azula. And if her purpose is to lead us to destined death, then connecting all of those information just makes sense to me. In my last video, I speculated that everyone connected to Grace will forget everything about the Realm of Shadow. The same happens when you die. And Melina died and is now connected to Grace. So it makes sense that she forgot about her purpose. The reason for her being burned by her brother. Same with all the memories of having a mother. But seeing things like the tree and the thorns made her remember.
The Erdtree is close. It takes me back. I was born at the foot of the Erdtree, where Mother gave me my purpose, though now everything is lost to me.
And if the last thing she remembers is being burned to remove the thorns, and knowing her mother will become a god, it would make sense that she thinks her purpose is being burned alongside a tree to get to destined death and allow a new lord to come.
O Erdtree, you shall burn. Burn for the sake of the new lord.
I know it sounds weird calling Melina a tree, but if you think about it for a second, it actually is possible. In Inealim, we can see many trees with what seems to be people growing inside of them. And they are. And I believe those are Numen, or shaman. It is a widely accepted theory that the shaman are tree people. The grandmother in the shaman village is the best example for that. She is literally growing into a tree. We can see even her hair growing into it. And the Marika and Radagon statues have those vines growing out of their feet, hinting at more connection between Marika, her people, and trees. We know Marika has some connection to the Erdtree, with some people even speculating she is the Erdtree. And let's not forget about the fact that her people were stuffed into jars, like seeds, by the Hornsent, who kinda worshipped them. And I think they were planted all over Neolin. At least this is what I believe is going on here. But there's more. We know that Marika is Numen, and we know that Black Knives are rumored to be Numen. And they are also rumored to have close ties to Marika herself. So Marika, the Black Knives, the Numen, and the Shaman all seem to be of the same stock, which could also be a reference to the rootstock of a tree, which is usually the part where other trees and plants are grafted to each other, like two different plants sharing their roots, which is a metaphor for being family. What?
Together we will devour the very
Yeah, whatever. So, metaphor for being family. If we take into account that Melina's moveset is the one of the Black Knives, which could link her to the Numen and the Shaman and would also make her a tree person. I know this was a lot to follow, so let me recap that. Marika is a shaman. The shaman are tree people. Marika is also a Numen. The Numen are also Black Knives. Melina moves like a Black Knife. Melina is the daughter of Marika, which makes her a shaman, which makes her a tree person. Get it? Good. Because there's another one of Marika's offspring that could hint at Marika and her shaman race offspring being tree people. No, I'm not talking about Melina or Mikola, who both seem to have grown their own trees. No. I'm talking about this abomination of a being here. Godric the Grafted. Grafting is a technique used to join parts from two or more plants so they appear to grow as a single plant. This usually requires both plants to be precisely cut at the connection point to allow them to grow together seamlessly. Which, Godric, I said precisely. Anyways, though not as nicely cut, Godric is doing exactly what grafting looks like. And if he is a descendant of Marika, it could make him at least part shaman, and would also explain why he is capable of grafting in the first place.
One day, we'll return together to our home, bathed in rays of gold.
We know that Melina and the Sealingtree share a story. They both are burned to get rid of impenetrable thorns. Both bring you to a place that was previously inaccessible, and it is necessary to burn both in order to usher the age of a new lord. Empyrean blood does cause flowers to grow, and I think Melina was an Empyrean too, before she was killed. So her corpse, or the plant connected to it, has to be somewhere. But what are your thoughts about Melina and the Sealingtree? Do you think they are connected, or am I tripping? Let me know about your thoughts in the comment section down below. But before we end this video, I'd like to give a special thank you to some special people. First off, we have Daniel D. Teach, who went out of his way to compose music just for this video. He already uploaded one of those tracks to YouTube, and I highly recommend checking it out. I will link it down below so you can check out his channel and all the great work he does. The other people I want to thank are ScumMageInfa, Bandit Games, Nameless Singer, and VLimit. If you enjoyed the sneak peek of their voice, make sure to check out their channels, which I will link down below, and give them a hug while you're there. And I thank you for staying till the end. I'm looking forward to see you in the next one. Bye!